Aussie workers are being warned their bosses could be spying on them, even when they work from home.
Yep, it comes after a woman was sacked after 18 years at her company because her employer was monitoring her laptop and how much work she was doing from home. For more, we're joined by employment lawyer Nick Dougal in Melbourne. Nick, thanks for your time this morning. Are bosses legally allowed to spy on employees like this?
The short answer is yes, Sarah. Employers have broad rights to monitor the usage of equipment that they provide employees for work purposes.
What are employees' rights in this kind of situation? Because I'm sure some will be a little surprised at that.
I think some certainly will, Carl, especially given how many employees now work from home. The first thing that I would suggest employees do is to check the terms of their contract and also their workplace policies. Their workplace policies should set out the extent to which employers are entitled to monitor uses of equipment that they give their employees.
Yeah, this is an interesting one because I think it was sort of the keystrokes that gave this woman away. But I mean, so often people use other devices like iPads or their phones, for example, to conduct some work. Are you finding that more and more people who are working from home are raising issues like this with you?
Very much so, Sarah. Employers, I think, are increasingly concerned about the productivity of employees who are working from home all or most of the time, and they're looking for ways to measure and test that productivity. In this case, the employee had duties exclusively using her work laptop, and the limited use of that laptop, I think, was decisive in the decision that she was not performing her work duties.
Well, when you see Zoom, the company saying everyone should come back to work, you know, there's a bit of an issue. Are there any other ways employers can monitor productivity? Say, for example, can they monitor text messages?
Yes, they can, Carl. I've certainly been involved.
You're in trouble, Carlos. You are in trouble, brother.
So be careful going forward, Carl. But if it is a company-issued mobile phone, then employers can monitor that as well. I've been involved in cases where employers have even sought to subpoena phone records from phone companies to work out the location of employees with their company mobile phone.
Wow,
So
the
employees don't have any rights in that situation at all?
They do. Employees do have a right to privacy, and there's an increasingly blurred line, I think, around privacy with employees working from home. There is a limit. For example, I doubt an employer could covertly turn on the video monitor on a laptop and watch an employee making a cup of tea. But I think there's a bit to go from a legal perspective in working out how the right to privacy is protected when employees are working from home with company equipment.
But even the fact they can do that is alarming. I think those.
God.
I know. So that little camera right there could be watching you right now.
No,
so don't pick your nose.
It's worse at home.
It's a brave new world, Sarah.
Oh, it is. It's a bit frightening. All right, well, there you go, Carlos. Behave yourself. Watch what you send on your text message.
Sometimes I don't have clothes on when I'm working at home.
A few people have been caught out with that.
Shock. They have.
Well, how about this? Aussie workers are being warned their bosses could be spying on them while they're working from home after a woman was sacked because her employer was monitoring her laptop. Matt, is it right for employers to track what their staff are doing?
Well, I think it's got to be a quid pro quo. If you're going to have the liberty of working from home and not having to commute, there's got to be some way that an employer can make sure you're doing your job. So, look, there's obviously got to be some privacy protections here as well. But people do need to, the bosses need to know you're doing your work. And in this particular case, the courts found this worker was hardly doing any work. So she probably didn't deserve to keep a job.
I don't understand. I think the mistake she made was underestimating that. I mean, everyone knows that a work laptop's going to be monitored, right, Di?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think if you work from home, you have to have responsibility to show that you are working from home and that you're working. And I think, as Matt, alluded to, yes, there is a privacy issue, but also there is a responsibility in terms of if you work from home, you need to do your job. So I think. People think that, for me, I don't like working from home. As you know, Sarah, I love the whole face-to-face interaction with human beings. And so I think it's very important to be in the office. And, for women who have got children, that offer of flexibility is wonderful.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the majority of us do the right thing when they work from home. So, yeah.
Yes, let's hope so. All right. Well, Carl, maybe tomorrow we can do this job from home. What do you reckon?
Back to the show. Well, you could be making a $260,000 mistake right now and don't even know it. It all comes down to superannuation fees. And with super statements about to roll in, it's more important than ever to check what you're paying.
Absolutely. And to explain, we are joined by Today Money expert Effie Zahos. Effie, this seems like an expensive mistake to be making.
Well, it is happening, unfortunately. And as you point out, in this particular scenario, it all comes down to fees. So the industry collects about $20 to $30 billion a year in fees. To be fair, a lot of that is investment fees. And because there's a lot of competition now, you know, they are reducing fees to a certain extent here. So this analysis from StockSpot, they basically looked at funds that are fit, so they call them the fit cat here. So these are net returns are even better because you shouldn't just look at fees alone. And there's a difference between a fit cat and a fat cat of almost 1% in fees. So they crunch the numbers. Typically over a period, you're losing about $265,000 from your nest egg.
Wow.
And as super funds, they're already starting to come in their statements. This is something that consumers need to look at. Like I said, fees alone is not that great. Net returns is what you're looking at, but it's such an easy mistake to make if you're in a dud super fund.
I mean, let's be real. I mean, most people would love $260,000 in their fund, right? The first point. But if you're young and you're starting out, you don't even think about this for the next 50, 60 years. You're not even looking at the fees. But that's where you can save, right?
You can. And this is even the Productivity Commission pointed out that fees are a big thing. So when your statement comes through, I think the biggest tip I can give you is have a look at the fee section in conjunction, of course, with the performance. And there's a little formula I use. Add up all the fees, and you probably won't find it
this takes me back to year 12.
Yeah, look at this. I can't understand
I've given you a rule and an example.
Okay.
So add up all the fees. Let's say it's $600. Divide it by your balance, super balance. Let's say your balance is $50,000, and that gives you a number. Times that by 100 to get it a percent. So you're looking at 1.2.
They need to take a screenshot of this, I think.
By all means do, or you'll be on the 9 Now website. So you can see here a balance fund with CanStar's data, anywhere between 0.27, you can pay as much as 1.87 on that. What you're looking for is something around 1%, and that's a good fund. Again, look at the net returns as well, and that should work it all out. So this is a really good rule to have a look at when you get your statement through.
The statement should be rolling in now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And there are lots of things you should be looking at, but I've picked out 3 that people don't really check. First of all, the most common question I get asked is that I don't even know where my money is. Where is it invested? Are you in a high growth fund, a balance? Transactions, check that your boss is paying on time. They should be paying it 4 times a year, 1 month after each quarter, and from 2026 is going to be paid when you get paid. And then in your insurance cover, and we've talked about this, your work rating. Are you a blue collar? Are you a white collar? Make sure that's in there as well, and your level of cover. They're the things I'd like people to kind of check when their statements come through.
It sounds like a bit to go through, though, especially if you're thinking about potentially changing super funds.
It is, but come on, you want to get $260,000 there? Yeah, it is a bit of work, And it's not, I guess it's not interesting. I mean, I find it very interesting. But have a look at the top super funds over a 10-year period for balance funds. Now, no guessing here. They're industry funds. Most of them you're probably looking thinking, oh, yeah, I'm in that or I'm not in that. Past performance, of course, is no indication of future, but these ones kind of sit in the top ones, worth having a look at. These are net returns as well, and most of them are industry funds.
And if your kids are already doing part-time work, they're casuals, check it for them.
Yeah.
Just get in there and check it, what they're paying in fees.
Absolutely, because they're not interested at this age, but believe me, you're going to get as old as me pretty fast, kids.
Exactly, and we're not going to pay for you.
You hear that, kids? Hey there, Today fans. Sarah and...
What's my name again?
Oh my goodness, Carl.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel, though. Subscribe now for more news, special reports, and amazing Aussie stories.
And Carl misbehaving,
Whoa,
of course.
That never happens.
Always happens.
What's she talking about?
Always happens.